Okay, I think we're live now. Yeah, hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic Podcast. I got my really good friend Arkheim Ra with me today. You guys know I met Arkheim Ra in person the first year of the Full Disclosure Now. He's as cool as he is in person. I was on camera, and he's awesome to be around. And I know he wants to talk a little bit about James Rink today, but we're going to also talk about handlers and psychological operations, and a little bit more about my guest that I wrote. Arkheim Ra returns to the Typical Skeptic Podcast with one of his most intense and revealing conversations yet. A Montauk survivor, time soldier, and experiencer of the secret space program, Arkheim brings firsthand knowledge of covert psychological operations, handler networks, timeline manipulations, and the time corporations that rule the hidden architecture behind our world. And I think he wants to say a little bit about James Rink first, but with all that said, I'd like to give him a big warm welcome back to the show. Arkheim, thanks so much for coming back on, man. How are you?
Things have been kind of rough, but I'm hanging in there. I just wanted to bring up that the work that I do, and we all do. It's really influenced by James. Like I feel like I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now without what he did for us all. And it's just really hard. It's just knowing that he probably could have lived a full, long life if he wasn't a targeted person. I don't know all the details upon his passing, but I do know that when I would hang out with him at conferences and stuff like that, he was targeted pretty heavily. And if anyone understood being targeted and the kind of things that these people do and how bad it can be, would be James. And if you read his book Lone Wolf, or have watched it, his show, he really laid the groundwork for a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today. And just because I haven't been on your show since he passed, would have felt weird to not bring up, rest in peace to James Rink. And the positive news that I do have to say is pretty much all the Montauk people are like getting visited by him. It's not just me, it's many. And everybody says the same thing. He says that he's free now. He's not a slave anymore, and that we don't need to be sad. And he's happy, is what he's been telling everybody. So that he's been visiting like on a spiritual, like psychic level, the astral, things like that, from the beyond, from the grave. So it's just, regardless of the fact that his soul lives on, his work always lives on, and everything, still tough knowing that he's no longer with us. So I just want to acknowledge that loss, to myself, to you. I'm sure you guys were friends too. Like, he was a really great guy, a lot of fun at conferences. He was the guy who would get the dancing going every night. At the end of the night, make sure everybody's having a good time, keep the morale up, and get the dance music going, and everybody would start having a good time and start dancing. And yeah, it was good that, I really respected him a lot, and I learned from him. And I just want to, people can watch many interviews that we've done over the years. A lot of them are on Rumble, like what you use, and some of them are on YouTube. But yeah, he really helped me out a lot in the unfortunately brief time. It was only a few years that we knew each other. And then he passed, because I'm much newer to this than him. So, but yeah, I just want to acknowledge the kind of the sacrifices that he made in order for me to even be right now having this conversation right now with you. And I just want to acknowledge the fact that this conversation is going to get really graphic. We're on Rumble, so right?
We're on YouTube too, but like we can. You want me to go on Rumble or what should I do? Should I leave it on YouTube for a little bit and then once we go up?
I was just gonna say some pretty dark shit, so it's up to you. I can kind of dance around it a little bit.
Well, no. Let's do this. Like since we have an audience already, let's all go over to Rumble, and we're live on Facebook too. We'll take the audience over to Rumble, and anybody who comes here from this point, at least there'll be something up on YouTube. And we'll keep this up on YouTube so people will know to come over to Rumble. And Jason, if you're in the audience, can you share the Rumble link? Well, yeah, I'll wait and let people get the. Jason already shared it. He's on it, man. He shared the Rumble link. So yeah, we're going off.
I can before you can wait a second for you on the YouTube stream if you want, because I'll kind of lead into it, and then I'll tell you when you need to cut it. How's that sound?
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so basically, psychological operations are obviously a very real thing. They run on many different levels. Psychological operations can be against a population, like at a large scale, or against a minority group within a population, which is different than something that's targeted and blanket everyone. Sometimes they are target specific groups. And yeah, people are just aware that like these programs where they target people and infiltrate their lives and stuff like that are real. And some of the stuff that's not being really talked about aspect is like the CIA's documents that have been unsealed and all the actual evidence that is there. And what I'm talking about is like COINTELPRO. So this would be groups that went in and infiltrated many different groups, mostly leftist groups, but not all leftist groups. And they would basically figure out who they're meeting with, why, infiltrate them, and try to destroy them from the inside out. They'll get dirt on people, try to gain positions of power, and then antagonize, like do things that don't make them look bad. Basically, just psychological operations are run in a lot of different ways. Another example would be with the 60s, how I swear to God, this is real. There's been many books that have been written about it. How like these people were, there's a lot of revolutionary things going on, Black Panther Party, things like this. And the sex, drugs, rock and roll ethos was also a thing that was going on. And I think what that did is really destroyed a lot of revolutionary groups. You had the crack epidemic, which, the CIA, I got a call.
It's sorry. It figures, dude. It's my alarm. I'm dude. I hate when stuff like that happens. I hate that. Like, I feel like it happens on. Anyway, I stopped it. I'm sorry. I apologize, man. Yeah.
It's all right. But do you know about how there's this guy, a journalist. He was a mainstream journalist, and he did end up getting unalived for this or whatever. He ended up passing away, but basically he exposed how the CIA was funding this group in South America called the Contras, and they were using basically they were funneling cocaine to the United States and selling it to fund them and their operation and all the stuff that they were doing, all the stuff that the CIA was doing. And yeah, this has been like documented. There's like books, documentaries about it, how they're doing this. And what they did on purpose is they targeted Black communities with crack cocaine. They moved crack cocaine in there. It was a brand new thing. People didn't really know how to deal with it because it was so new. And it ended up causing, the crack epidemic, which, if you look at history in the 80s and early 90s and stuff like that, was the thing. There was an epidemic when it came to the substance. So that would be another example of a psychological operation. Music. Rappers have openly talked about, now many, some of them famous rappers who did end up making it in the industry, have exposed how they're like nudged, like it's encouraged for them to like have like violent lyrics and kind of have certain explicit content in their music that helps the like juvenile youth to prison pipeline kind of thing. which is slavery, modern day slavery, and is connected even to the like secret space programs kind of things too, and stuff like that. But it's literally just on a surface level. I mean, when you're living in a box and getting paid less than 50 cents an hour to do something, that's slavery, and that's still happening right now. People don't understand that prison labor is basically slavery. So yeah, there's just it's being run all over the place in our lives, and you know, when it comes to like this COINTELPRO stuff, where they infiltrate like left-leaning associations or groups. Well, a long time ago, I used to live at a punk house. Um, it's no longer in operation. It was called Disaster House, and it existed for about a decade. And it was a very legendary house. A lot of popular bands played there, like Johnny Hobo and the Freight Trains, and like certain bands that maybe no one watching this would know, but in certain circles, like a lot of people know who they are, like pretty famous bands.
I know who that is because my friend used to listen to punk. Like I mean, my friends listen to punk. We listen to it our whole lives. Like I know who that is. Like I probably know some of the bands, but like I'm a little bit different because I've kind of been involved in
So
that.
I kind of stumbled into this house back in the day because I was a touring musician, and I was from a pretty poor family, really poor background, and didn't have a car, so I would like kind of like hitchhike around with like a guitar on my back and like a backpack, and like it just kind of ended up like one of my friends who used to live in Joliet was like, "Oh, I live at this punk house in Rockford now, and I'm booking shows here and stuff, and come through and play a show. We're having one this weekend, and we could just add you to the bill." So that's what happened, and I went there, and I just ended up moving in there and living there. And well, this house was like an anarchist punk house, and before it had ever even gotten there, they were involved in like Occupy Wall Street and like things like that. And they did really cool things, like they had a community garden where anybody could come to their garden and just like pick whatever they needed, and they would give food to people and help people, and they actually did stuff for their community and stuff. But also they were, I guess, like antagonistic to authority, the government, things like that, which made them a target, right? So anyway, long story short, you ever listen to vaporwave music? You know,
What is it? What's it?
vaporwave.
No, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. That sounds like something.
Well, it's like a really weird micro genre of music that's like slowed down, like songs from the '80s, and like they add reverb to it and like maybe synthesized. It's really weird. But I actually was roommates with the guy that invented that kind of music. Like his name's, well, I don't really need to say who it is, but he like literally invented it. Like the guy who everyone thinks invented vaporwave did an article with Vice, and they literally referenced my roommate. He's like, he's the actual guy that I just copied what he did. Um, and but anyway, I made a song with him and this chick who turns out they're a Fed. Um, and how it all came out, it was like during so after the house was no longer a thing, during like Bill Clinton, or not Bill Clinton, during Hillary Clinton, when Hillary Clinton was trying to get elected. Um, Nobody involved in the kind of circles like punk rock kind of community, like DIY circles, nobody wanted to vote for her, and everyone was not going to vote for her, and everybody made it clear that they didn't like her, and it was all a bunch of bullshit. And why participate in this system? And there's really an ethos of they're not, no, like a lot of people don't vote, and she just kind of like outed herself by being like a Hillary Clinton like worshiper, and then like being really weird about how people were like, that's fucked up, I'm not gonna do that, and just like not agreeing to disagree. And like I don't know if she was like drunk or what, like why she did it. It was a really dumb thing to do, but she basically, not basically, she literally admitted she was a Fed on Facebook. She admitted it, that she was like working with the Feds, and basically that she infiltrates. So they picked her up from Occupy Wall Street, and she infiltrated her house, and she was literally being paid by the government to live with us and spy on us, basically, and spoke pot with me and stuff like that. It's the craziest thing ever, right? Like, but that actually happened. And
Wow.
yeah, and I don't even think she's in the United States anymore, because the last thing she ever posted on Facebook or something like that, I heard through the grapevine, was that she doesn't feel safe here anymore. And a lot of people were just like, yeah, well, that's what happens when you take the devil's money. People don't like that. You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, so that happened. And so I'm just kind of setting the groundwork for something that happened a little bit more recently to me. That I really want to put the forefront on, just to make people aware of some real things that are going on. So you're aware of kind of like the satanic clergy, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you, because you've interviewed so many people, and probably a lot of your audience are aware, but I'm going to explain it for those who maybe aren't. The Church of Satan, like the church you look up on the internet when you look up Satan, Church of Satan, it's total bullshit. That's not the real Church of Satan. It's mockery of what the real Church of Satan is, basically. They basically are atheists using Satanism as a fun aesthetic to mock Christianity. That's what they are. But real Satanism is much more ancient and much more dark. It wasn't founded less than 100 years ago. It's something that's thousands of years old. And it has to do with demonic entities that are very real. And they do have basically a clergy, and they exist all around us, and they infiltrate churches. They infiltrate, this is one of the reasons why. And then we're gonna want to switch over to Rumble now after this.
Okay, guys, we're gonna go over to Rumble now. So everybody I'm glad we got an audience now. We're gonna go over to Rumble literally right now. I'm removing this from YouTube right now, and we are now in. Hold on, give me 1 second.